Good morning, everybody. My thought for you that I'm playing with this week is on resilience. And that is a concept that is not just a physical resilience, but what it means to have a remembrance of our inner resilience. And I started this week saying that I was being inspired by my 2-year-old daughter, and how much, of course, in this part of her life, everything is just play to her. So we were jumping around. I think, she was jumping on the bed or something like that and doing purposefully falling over, purposefully throwing herself around. And when I asked her what she was doing, she literally said to me she was practicing falling. So I taught earlier in the week that exact concept of what it means to practice falling, and what it means to kind of remember that this entire life, our whole life experience, can be in that category of play when we're looking at it in the right way. And how we do that, how we stay in a state of realizing that failure is not an ending, success is not an ending, whatever is going on in our life is not about beginnings and endings. It's a series of experiments, is that's the indication of how close we are to that sense of our inner source of energy. Because if we're looking for the outside to keep feeding our willingness to move forward, if we're looking for success on the outside to keep to convince us to keep trying, then we're going to get stuck, because success doesn't always look the way we want it to on the outside. So instead of that kind of directional energy in the world, is that sense of resilience, is that when you fall, when something doesn't work, or when something is not progressing, is what do you fall back onto? What do you fall back into? If you're not in that state of trying to accomplish something, trying to achieve, is what's underneath that. And that's the essence of what it means to go back to a state of resilience, that when things don't happen the way that you thought, that interaction with the world is what do you bounce back to, right? It's not just what you are putting out, but what the world sends back to you. How does that keep you in a state of willingness to continue to try and play and explore, so that that's what your life is? It's a constant state of exploration, instead of I'm trying to get from one place to another, or I'm just trying to survive. So I'm still in that mode where that concept of the inner resilience is important, because we lose it, right? From when we're young, it's an innate sort of automatic response to the world, is that we continuously bounce back from things that don't go the way that maybe we think that they will. Maybe we don't even think they're going to go that way. I don't know how, a developing mind that way, if it even has expectations in the same way that we do. But we have that sense when we're young of a willingness to keep trying, even though we don't know how things are going to work out. And we start to lose that as we get older. So how can we come back to it? That's our practice, is how do you come back to an inner state of knowing that there's a reason to keep exploring. And it's not about achieving what you think you want to achieve, right? So it's redirecting all of the energy that we have back to a state that is beyond achieving, right? Comfortable seat if you're not there already. But to be in a state of play with the eyes closed. Be in a perspective that it doesn't matter if you do well or if you don't do well. Have the same willingness to fall that you have to do anything else. As you send that awareness inward, I want you to notice the breath. And I want you to notice what's behind the breath. The same way you can notice your thoughts. So then become aware of what is behind the thoughts. Resilience comes from the fact that our innate nature is a joyful one. Bliss. So that's the original body that forms the blueprint for this body. Innate to you. So keep looking behind whatever seems like it's pulling your attention away from that. And one more breath deep down into your belly. And this is a practice not just for today, but for your entire life. To keep looking behind what pulls your attention away from an experience of bliss. Good. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, please, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands from front of the heart center, please. And then come forward to hands and knees. You start to circle your hips. Move the pelvis. Good. Pelvis is always a good place to go if you're looking for that feeling of fluidity and the feeling of there being a willingness to keep recreating yourself. That's very much the energy of the pelvis. And that's the energy of being in a state of exploration in the world instead of one of achievement. Good. Move your hips the other way, please. Nice. You're falling out of the mind that needs to do things, that needs to accomplish things. What do you fall into? This is so many of the teachings say that when you are caught in that idea that you're going to somehow succeed at creating inner peace, you're going to somehow succeed at getting beyond your mind, you're going to somehow succeed at ending suffering. So you end up creating more of whatever it is, end up creating more of the same. Come back to stillness, please. Cat-cow your spine, inhaling, lifting the heart and the tail, and then exhaling, drawing them towards each other. Good. Keep the shoulders nice and wide on both the inhale and the exhale. So especially as you exhale, don't let those shoulders hike up towards your ears. Good. Keep drawing them back. Nice. Our whole practice is to unlearn this concept of trying to achieve something different and instead start looking behind all of that excess activity to what is already there. And we're told that what's already there, the foundation, is that state of bliss. Nothing is missing. Everything is exactly as it is. But you're not stuck in a state of achievement. You come back to a state of play. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Stretch the right arm out wide to the right. Slide the right arm behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the right arm forward towards straight. Sorry, left arm forward towards straight. There you go. Press into your shins. Draw your low rib cage in a little bit more. Good. Nice, you guys. Good. The practice of falling is that when you fall out of that state of achievement, as you start falling into that natural state that is blissful. And it doesn't mean that you're drunk or that you're drugged. It means that you're no longer looking for a way out. Come back to hands and knees. Go the other way. Take the left arm out wide. Slide that arm behind the right wrist. Left shoulder finds the floor. Walk the right arm forward to straight. And I think that's the thought that's been sitting with me the most this week, is that idea of living your life in a way where you're not trying to find a way out of it. Being in yourself in a way where you're not trying to find your way out. Not trying to escape. And that state of bliss is one where that is the experience that it's said that we have. If you're in a state of bliss, is there's nowhere to run to, nothing to run from. A state of exploration where there's nothing I'm trying to get away from. There's just a openness, a willingness to feel and explore and expand. Good. Bring yourself back up to hands and knees. Nice. Spread the fingers wide, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward facing dog. Good. Come up high on the tippy toes of your feet, please. Scoop into your belly, pull your hips nice and high, and then bring your armpits forward towards plank pose, but stay high on the balls of your feet. Stay lifted, stay lifted, stay lifted, and then go a little further than you normally would, and then start to lift your collarbones up, 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 and push out through your heels, and keep those ribs in, and widen the shoulders away from the ears again. Good. Pull the arms back, drag the arms back. Nice. Roll forward a little bit further towards the tips of your toes. Good. Lower down slow to your belly, coming through knees first if you need, all the way down. Good. Point the toes, please. Take your hands a little wider. Come up into a wide-armed cobra. So just move the hands out away from your ribs. Come up on fingertips if you'd like, and then begin to lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And again, let yourself move from side to side, twisting right rib cage, left rib cage. Nice. Good. Finding your breath with it so that you're not just moving your body erratically because I told you to move your body. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Wide chest. Pull those lower armpits in to lift up. Nice. And then release back, please. Good. Press up to hands and knees. Come back to child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together to touch. Good. Press into your tops of your feet. So press your shins down, squeeze your knees towards your ribs, round your back. So purposefully really pull into your back rib cage here, round, round. And then focus on, can I bring my heels, my butt towards my heels a little bit more because I'm rounding into my back body. Good. And then maintain that settledness of your pelvis and start to melt the heart back towards the floor. So release the tension in the upper back. Good. Release the engagement through the mid spine. Beautiful, you guys. And then come back up to hands and knees, press back downward facing dog. Good, right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Come up high on the ball of that left foot. Good, again, squeezing the feet towards each other, pull up through your low belly, send that right thigh just a little bit higher, pull back on that heel, pull back, pull back, pull back. Yeah, and then step that right foot forward between the hands. Good. Left foot steps forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Parsvottanasana. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. Good. Yeah, nice, you guys. Draw that outer right hip back as you spin your left outer hip forward. Beautiful. Nice, nice, nice. I'm watching where your mind gets hard around what you think you're supposed to be achieving here. Watching where those expectations pop up that somehow the pose should feel different, be different than what it actually is. Can you keep looking behind that? That what's going to catch you when those expectations fall apart? What's going to catch you when there's disappointment? What's going to catch you when how you wanted things to go is not how they go? One more breath. Scoop into your low belly. Drop your heart a little deeper. Good. And then bend your front knee. Please step the left foot forward alongside the right, standing forward fold. Good. Bend your knees, drop your belly onto your thighs, chin towards your chest, wrap the arms around the backs of your legs, hug. Good. And then scoop your belly again, round your back, so pull up so get spacious in your lower sacrum or in your lower back. And then press into your heels, push your butt towards the sky, keep yourself hugged in. Good. It's not important that the legs come to straight. It's important that you stay hugged in and engage through your belly and that you're reaching the legs long in both directions. That's what's going to stretch the hamstring attachments. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Good. Bend your knees, drop your thighs parallel to the floor. Nice. Walk your fingertips forward in front of you, so as far out as you can go. And then again, keeping the hips nice and low, cat-cow your spine. Good. Engage into your feet, so feel all 10 toes. Good. The knees are wide, so there has to be a little bit of a feeling of hugging in your shins. Good. So you keep the weight balanced between inner and outer edges of your feet. Nice. Good, you guys keep the hips low. A little lower, Susan. Beautiful. And then come to stillness, please. Walk the hands back in, take the legs to straight. Good, with that same energy of I'm scooping my low belly and I'm pushing up through my sacrum, pushing down through my heels. So I'm not letting my weight fall back behind my heels. Right hand comes to outer left ankle or shin. Left arm to the sky or to your lower back, whichever. Good, keep your right inner thigh nice and wide. So again, you're not letting your hips shift as you come into the twist. Beautiful, you guys. And then let yourself fall towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat as you're in that twist. So again, you're reaching, but you're still staying extended. Nice, come back to center. Go to the other side. Left hand reaches for right ankle, right arm to the sky. Push the left inner thigh wider here. And again, that right hand can be at the lower back instead, but you're still trying to open the upper chest as much as you can. So if your hand is at your low back, I love it. Just bring the shoulder a little bit wider, a little bit more open. Good, Kristen. Nice, you guys. And then you're leaning towards that upper left-hand corner of your mat. Open the side body even more. Good. And then release that hand back down to the floor. Nice job. Hands come center. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer. Good. Step back, right leg, then left leg, downward facing dog. Good. Bend your knees deeply, taking the heels, the hips towards your heels. Good, pulling those knees forward as you pull your butt back. Good, so you want to scoop through that low belly, drop your hips a little lower. So again, you're changing the angle of the pelvis. So it's almost like it's going to feel like you're tucking your tail a little bit. Good. And then scoop the belly, take your hips nice and high to the sky, pull up onto your tippy toes, straighten the legs. Good. And then let the heels soften back towards the floor. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good, come up high on the ball of that right foot again, squeeze in with the legs split, pull, 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 pull back through that ankle. So again, the weight is not falling into your hands, but you're pulling it back into the legs. Good, and then step the left foot forward between the hands. Good, right foot steps forward just a little bit, take both legs back to straight, Parsvottanasana. Blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. Nice, you guys. And I really enjoy the idea, my daughter's languaging already, that she's practicing falling. Because anything that you want to be skillful at, what do you have to do? You have to practice it. And we don't consider that, right? We try to avoid situations like falling. We try to avoid situations that might get us hurt. We try to avoid situations that are not going, that we think are going to cause us to feel a way we don't want to feel, prefer not to feel. We don't consider that the events are just events and that how we feel about them is something that we have the ability to influence. That you can fall and think that it's fun, that you can fail and think that it's exciting. That you can brush up against sadness or pain and realize that it's a state of enlightenment. That's what I mean by that sense of inner resilience, is that whatever the world gives you, it's like a game of give and take, or it's a game of catch. How do you resonate with the world around you? And if you're in a state of play, then no matter what the world gives you, you can stay in that state where it's of value, where it's of benefit, and where it can be an aspect of fun, enjoyment, the reason for living, the reason we wake up every day. Good. Bend that left knee again, please. Step your right foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Bend the knees, drop your belly onto your thighs, wrap the arms around the backs of your legs, scoop into that lower belly, drop the chin towards your chest. Good, and then push into your heels, take your butt towards the sky, letting the legs come straight any amount, but keep yourself hugged in. And then if your shoulders are pulling up towards your ears because you're hugging into your legs so strongly, pull the tops of your shoulders wide and let your throat get longer. Good. Push into your heels, push into your butt. Nice. And then release the hands to the floor, please. Bend your knees, drop your sit bones nice and low. Same energy with the fingertips on the floor or blocks. Round into your belly, pull your belly up off of your thighs. So get that fullness in your low back. And then maintain that as you start to take the arms up, shoulders up into chair pose. So take the arms up alongside your ears, but move from that lift of your belly. So your belly does not collapse back towards your thighs. Your ribs stay lifted. Good. Turn your palms forward, bend your elbows out wide to cactus arms in chair. Good. And then scoop those inner elbows forward like you're squeezing in. Yeah. And then lift your chest higher. Nice. And then press into the feet, come all the way up to stand, arms still in cactus arms, lift the chest, lift it, lift it, lift it. Start to drop yourself back into a little back bend. Keep those elbows spinning forward. Good. And the collarbones going wide, long throat. Pull back through the tops of your thighs. Nice. And then come all the way up to stand, stretch the arms straight alongside your ears. Right hand holds left wrist and pull to your right. Nice, you guys. Come back up to center, switch the hands, go the other way, reaching to your left. And as you reach, make sure that you're pushing down into the opposite heel. So you're reaching to your left, push down through that right hip, push down through that right baby toe. Good. Come back up to center, please. Nice. Hug your right knee up in towards your chest. Good. Squeeze in. And then take the ankle across your left thigh, please. Bend the left knee. Take your butt back, cross-legged chair. Good. Hands at heart center. Consider that this is the same energy or the same basic positioning as regular chair. You just have an ankle cross. So you still have to lift up that front edge of your pelvis. You still have to draw your rib cage in and then move your hips back in space. It's nice, you guys. Good. One more deep breath, and then start to drop that the elbows forward onto your shin. So right elbow onto the knee, onto the instep of the foot. Let your butt go back even more because you've come forward with your torso. Yes. Good. And then release the fingertips down to the floor, please. Good. Play for a second. Again, floor or blocks. If you need to hold blocks, hold blocks. Play for a second with the idea of coming up on the ball of that left foot with your ankle still crossed. Good. For some of you who are comfortable in the arm balance, if you want to go straight for it, you can. Dropping the hands to the floor, taking your shin across the upper arms. You've got to bend your elbows, hook the foot around the left forearm. Good. And then you can absolutely curl into your belly and lift that left foot up. Keep your butt to the sky. Good. Nice, Alice. Beautiful. And then drop it back down when you're ready. Really good, Alice. Awesome. Good. Take both legs to straight. Unwind the legs, standing forward fold. Good job. Yeah, shake your head yes and no. Not about accomplishment. Take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Good. Second side, draw the whatever leg, left knee up in towards your chest. The other leg that you have. Good. Cross the ankle over the right thigh and then bend the right knee. Take your butt back, hands at heart center, cross-legged chair. Remembering the same way that your spine felt in the first chair pose, you're doing the same thing. So you have to lift through that front edge of your pelvis to not go into that arch of your lower spine, and you're sending your butt back. Good. Nice. Beautiful, you guys. Next breath, bring the elbows forward to rest on the shin and the instep of the foot, or the knee and the instep of the foot. Push your butt back more because you bring your chest forward. Good. Armpits widen. There you go. And then let the hands come down to the floor or to blocks, but you're staying in this kind of crouched, awkward position. And then play with coming up on the ball of your right foot, because that might be just enough. I want you to feel off balance, or better yet, I want you to be off balance so that you feel yourself having to get comfortable in a position that you would never naturally be in. And if you're going for the arm balance, go ahead. You can hook that foot around the upper right arm. Good. Nice, nice, nice. You have to stay lifted in your belly. Nice, Alice. Really beautiful. Good. And then slowly come all the way back down. Release both feet to the floor, standing forward fold. Good. And if you didn't go straight for the arm balance, no problem. It's not about achieving that. But the first step is, can you get comfortable in that crouched position, changing your weight from a flat foot to the ball of your foot? That's huge. That's what we call play, is what happens if I change my foundation. right? What happens if I let myself be in a precarious place where I might fall? Good. Bring your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Nice. And then pull the right knee up in towards your chest again. I know, standing balance is not what anyone wants to do in the morning. Good. Squeeze it in. Top of the left thigh moves back. Good. And you're taking your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Right hand comes either to your lower back or stretches straight back behind you. Push that knee wide so it's staying in line with your hip. Top of your left thigh has to keep pulling up and back. So don't let your shoulders lean back. They have to pull forward a little bit. Good. Stay in the twist. Optional here is to start to straighten your right leg, either keeping the hand at the knee or reaching for the foot if it's easily available. Extend all the way out. Good. Don't let your shoulders fall back. Keep them slightly forward. Yeah, push your butt back instead. Nice. And then bring everything back to center. Hug that knee in towards your chest. Good. And then release it down to the floor. Nice job. Shake it out. Second side. Good job, Dana. Left knee up in towards your chest. Squeeze in. Good. Approach your balancing as though it's play. Right hand to outer left knee. Left hand comes to your lower back or reaches straight back behind you. You're turning your belly to the left. So if you don't turn your belly, you don't turn your shoulders, you can't really call it a twist. You got to move into it. Push that knee a little bit wide and then pull the top of your right hip, that's your standing leg, back a little bit to the right. Good. And then maintain that twist. Go ahead, straighten the leg if you'd like, or keep it bent. You can reach for the foot, keep the hand at the outer knee or the outer thigh. Good. Lean your shoulders forward a little bit more so that you can push your butt back. Yeah. And then reach through that left hand a little bit more so you're really opening wide through the chest. Nice. Bring it all the way back to center. Hug that knee in towards the chest. Good. And then release that foot down to the floor. Nice job. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward, hands find the floor. Good. Step the right leg back behind you, please. Drop that knee to the floor. Use a blanket if you'd like. Underneath the knee. Anjaneyasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. So Anjaneyasana, letting your weight move forward a little bit more so that your pelvis is in front of that back knee. So Lauren, widen your lunge a little bit so that you can bring your hips forward a little bit more. There you go. And then squeeze that back heel back. Nice, you guys. Deep breath in. Reach long, long, long. Take the arms out to cactus arms, actually. I like that better. And then again, lifting the chest, squeeze those elbows in just a little bit so that you can feel the upper back and the chest connection. And then lean back. From your rib cage, lean back. Good. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Beautiful. Come all the way back up to center. Inhale the arms up. Good. Hands to heart center, please. Prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Good. Pull back through your ribs. Pull back through your belly. And then draw those lower armpits towards each other on your back. So it's not quite the same as just saying squeeze your shoulder blades together, but it's can you draw those outer armpits towards the center of your back, like you're pulling on the actual rib cage towards your back of your heart. Nice. And then come back to center, please. Release your twist. Beautiful. Hands to the floor. Good. Lift that back knee, please. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Vinyasa if you'd like, child's pose if you prefer. If you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, lowering down slow, finding your way up into your back bend, cobra or up dog or locust, whatever you prefer. And then downward facing dog, find your way back. Good. And then the right foot steps forward between the hands. Drop the back knee, use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana, second side. Good. Watch yourself in Anjaneyasana. There's sort of this tendency that when we drop that back knee, we sort of shift it in towards the midline of our mat and it sets our hips off balance. So if you're feeling precarious, maybe move your knee a little bit wider to the left. Yeah, and it's funny that we automatically go to say, oh, I'll move my front foot wider to the right. No, move your back leg. That's the one that's out of line. Good. Nice. Squeezing the legs towards each other, arms up straight. Good. So reach through your side body first, pull those armpits up, and then take the arms out to cactus arms so that the bending the elbows is actually lifting your chest more. Good. And then squeeze those inner elbows forward. Yeah, get into those side ribs or those side back muscles. Good. And then lift the chest higher, 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 and start to lean back like you're going to drop the back of your heart to your heel, but you're going to take the front of your heart to the sky. Good. Keep your weight moving forward. Squeeze the front heel and the back knee towards each other. Yeah. And then come all the way back up to straight. Stretch through the arms. Good. Hands to heart center, prayer twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Good. As you press the knee and the elbow against each other, can you feel the drawing in of your ribs, the drawing in of your belly, and the exhilaration of trying to turn your heart to the sky? Because it has nothing to do with succeeding, but there's a curiosity, right? Of that, if I draw in enough, can I find where there's a flexibility in my spine? Can I find where there's an openness to my chest, to my back, where I'm not forcing anything to be painful in order to try to get into a pose? Definition of achievement, right? I'm putting myself through something painful just so I can accomplish a goal. Come back to center. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift that back knee up. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. And then go ahead and step yourself back to down dog split. Take the right leg up and back behind you. Yep. Good. Walk your hands back towards that left foot. So you're walking back, back, back towards a standing split. Good. Keep walking it back. Nice. Yeah, keep your hips turned down, baby toes turned down. Beautiful, you guys. Good. And then go ahead and walk yourself forward again. Come back to the down dog split, moving the hands forward. Again, this is part of that resilience, is can you move yourself from your hands, not just from your feet? Good. And then bring that right knee forward and wide for pigeon. Bring that knee out towards the right wrist. Beautiful. Left knee finds the floor. Send that outer left hip spinning forward, and then go ahead and walk yourself onto your elbows, your forearms, whatever your resting pigeon position likes to be. Resilience, your bliss, your energy is not an ever diminishing supply. It's not as though we're born with a certain amount of it and life takes it away from us. So we're born in whatever state we're born in, and our mind convinces us to keep looking at things in a certain way. And the more we get in the habit of trying to avoid failure, trying to avoid pain, trying to avoid so much of the experience of life, is that's what steals the bliss. It's the desire to avoid instead of the willingness to live, the willingness to try, even in the face of failure. So how do we get past that? How do we change that mental dynamic? Well, what if everything was play? This is what Krishna says in his teachings. He says you can go about your life as though it's a bunch of work, that there's a bunch of duty to do, that your dharma is somehow needs to be accomplished, otherwise your life has no meaning. He says you can do that, and it'll be hard on you. You can succeed at that, but it'll be hard on you. He says if you give up on that, if you fall out of that, what you naturally fall into is that state of bliss where everything that happens is not you trying to escape, but it's you being fulfilled in unexpected ways. Your resources don't diminish, they expand. That's how we stay resilient, consistently willing, able to weather everything because we're not caught in just achievement. Good. Walk yourself back up onto your forearms or onto your hands. Good. Bend that left knee, so the back knee bends, and then reach back right hand for the foot or the ankle. Take the twisting quad stretch if you'd like. Good. You can always come up onto the hand if being on the forearm doesn't work. Good. Scoop into your belly, you guys, and then try and drop that right butt cheek back down to the floor. Good. Kick your foot back into your hand. And for those of you who feel really comfortable here, go ahead and stretch that left arm up to the sky for some of you. Good. Nice. If you were already up on your hand, you could come up into that stretch. Good. Nice, Laura. Nice, Alice. Nice, Dana. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Unwind your twist. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Good. Come back down, dog split. Just for a moment, stretch that right leg back and wide, back and long. Long was the correct term, wide was not. Good. Release that foot down to the floor. Again, bend your knees, dropping your hips towards your heels just a little bit. Let that be your release instead of the full vinyasa. Can you feel this is like an active child's pose? Good, which means you got to drop your butt towards your heels a little more. That's it. And then take the legs back up to straight. Beautiful, you guys. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Walk your hands back towards your right foot. Come into the standing split, any amount. Beautiful. Yeah. If you take for granted the abilities that you have, the amazing things that you are able to accomplish, it might always feel like you don't have enough. Walk your hands back forward, back to down dog split. And that's also the trick of the mind, is whatever we do and we think that it's not too difficult, is we think that it must not be a big deal. Good. Bring that left knee forward and wide to pigeon. Good. Set the hips so the left hip spins back, outer right hip spins forward. And then let yourself come forward onto your forearms or elbows or blocks or whatever you're using. Nice. And we find out what we're made of when we are placed in an opportunity where our normal, easy way of doing things is challenged. So that's part of the game of asana, is that you are playing with this understanding of your body. And it's said so often that, you have to practice regularly when you don't need yoga to keep you sane. Maybe you always need it to keep you sane. But you want to practice all the time, regardless of whether your life feels like it's difficult or not, because in the moments when it truly is beyond your comprehension, if you haven't practiced, that resilience won't be there, right? That automatic being able to fall out of something and into something else won't necessarily be there. So you practice asana not just for your body to be healthier or more comfortable. You practice asana to keep reminding yourself that you have the ability to do so many more things than you think. And the only reason that you don't think you can do them is because nobody's asked. You've never tried, right? How do you know that you can't stand on your head? How do you know that you can't twist yourself into this interesting position? How do you know that you can't if you don't try? It's that state of exploration. The world gives you opportunities to find the absolute edges of yourself. What are you made of? And the only thing you need is a willingness to look, a willingness to feel it. If the mind wants to avoid, or it wants to achieve only, you'll miss it. We feel incomplete, and we call that suffering. So can you practice being in a state of willing to fall, willing to fail, letting go of achievement and seeing what you drop into when that drops away? Where is your source of resilience? Go ahead, take one more deep breath. Relax in your pose for a second, because if you've been trying to hold yourself together, that's exhausting. And then walk yourself back up onto your forearms or hands. Bend your right knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Good. Reach back, left hand for the foot of the ankle, twisting quad stretch. And again, just like every other twist, even though this is in pigeon, you're still drawing your rib cage back. You're still drawing the front of your pelvis in to support the lower spine. Good, and you're still falling back towards the opposite corner, so the upper right-hand corner. And then again, optional, if you're up on your hand here, or you really wanna come into it, you can lift that right hand up off the floor. Good. If you're happy on your forearm or on your hand, stay where you are. Mark, just keep your back knee on the floor. There you go. Good, nice, Lauren. And then release the hand to the floor, release the leg. Good, lift that back knee up. Take it into down dog, split left leg comes up and back just for a moment. Beautiful. And then release that foot down to the floor. Good. Look forward between the hands, step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Good, nice, you guys. Take the legs to straight and bow. Good, separate the feet as wide as your mat. Good, turn your toes out just a little bit and then bend your knees again. So change my mind, turn your toes back forward again. Sorry, toes all the way forward. Bend your knees, take your butt back and down, thighs parallel the floor. And then walk your hands back inside your feet. Yep, so inside the knees, inside the feet, wrap the arms around the back of your calves. You can take the thumb and first finger to the back of each heel if you'd like. So a little balancing for your little balancing squat. And then lift your chest forward and up. Good. Widen the space between shoulders and ears. So get into that feeling of moving your chest wide in order to engage your upper back. So lower armpits pull together. Yeah, you got it. This is just a little, I don't even know a name for this. I've only ever heard it called like bug, like you're a little bug. Good. Wide chest. Good. And then start to take your legs back up to straight. Unwind the arms if you need. If you can keep them wrapped around your calves, keep them wrapped around your calves. Good. And then release the hands, walk the hands forward in front of you. Now turn the feet out just a little bit. Good. Come up on the balls of your feet. Nice. An opportunity for crow pose here. So bending the elbows, make sure your hands are flat. Good. Bending your knees like you're coming into a squat pose. And then you're leaning forward onto your hands, rounding your back, pulling up through your low belly, but still you got to push back through your thigh creases. Let your knees come onto the upper shelf of your arms. Squeeze in. You have to squeeze your legs towards your ribs for this to be easier. So squeeze in and then scoop your belly as you lean forward, look forward, pull up through the back of your ribs, back of your heart, let one foot or both float up off the floor. And even if you're just playing with shifting your weight forward, play with shifting your weight forward. Stay wide in the upper back and shoulders. Good. I would say if you love crow pose and going into headstand, opportunity here to let yourself fall forward, bring your head to the floor. Tripod headstand, squeeze in, maybe taking the legs up to the sky. Good. One of us did it, we all did it. So nice headstands, you guys. Beautiful, really good, Lauren. Nice, Alice. The trick is that if you've come into headstand, then you have to bring your knees back down to the upper arms and see if you can float yourself back up into crow. Nice. Good job, Alice. And then let yourself come down to sit, you guys. Really good job. Let the bottoms of the feet come together, knees wide. Good. Let your feet come forward just a little bit so you have a little bit of a longer diamond in your Baddha Konasana. You can use a blanket under your seat if you need. And then let yourself fold forward. If you'd like to, thread the arms underneath the knees, so one forearm under each raised knee, you can do that. Or you can just find whatever comfortable forward fold there is. Good. Put a little bit of a softer angle on the legs. Nice, you guys. Play and play and play. In the same way that, you know, practice to try and get something perfect, usually so that the moment that, you know, it quote really matters, right? When someone else is looking or when you think you're going to be judged on something. Practice to make that moment perfection. Well, what if you lived your whole life in a way where you couldn't tell which were the moments that were the ones that quote mattered and the ones that don't? If you can't tell the difference between practice and the moment, and all you have is a life full of play. Or that those big moments become just increased excitement from where there was already an enjoyment of living. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. Stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. Left foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. Nice. Inhale the arms up. Little twist of the belly towards that right leg. Bow forward. Good. Janu Shirshasana. Nice. You guys take a notice of the baby toes pulling back a little wider and the big toes pushing forward just a little bit so that you're balancing the activity of your leg. Good. Nice, nice, nice. There's nothing to achieve, and you can just enjoy what's there. So can you keep looking behind your mind? Can you keep looking behind the desire to escape from something, anything? And see what's there. Walk yourself back up. Good. Take that left knee facing up towards the ceiling, cross the ankle over the right thigh. Good. And you can stay here, or you can bend the right knee as well, taking the heel towards the opposite sit bone. So you can bend both knees if you choose, or just keep that left foot flat to the floor outside your right leg. If your bottom leg is straight, then you're just going to reach that right arm around your left knee and take the left hand behind you, coming into a twist. Good, squeezing in. Good, you can do that same thing if both legs both knees are bent. You can still use the arm to hug in, take the left hand back behind you, or you can hook the elbow around the knee and come into the twist that way. So either hooking the elbow using the forearm, or like a prayer twist, hooking the elbow around the knee. Good, so your choice. So the elbow can be on the outside of the knee in the kind of classical half Lord of the Fishes, or squeeze the leg in. Good. You should be able to feel both sit bones. Keep lifting your low belly up towards your legs so you're not leaning back on your pelvis. Good. And throat long. Draw your head back. Yes. Good, Mark. Beautiful. Last breath. Squeeze into yourself. And release. Come all the way back. Good. And stretch them out in front of you. Give them a shake if they need. Good, and then left leg stays extended. Right knee pulls in, bottom of the foot to the inside of the left thigh. Reach the arms up. Little twist to your left, and then bow over the left leg. Good. Pulling back on the baby toe a little bit more, pushing through the big toe mound of the feet, of the foot. Nice. Good, Victoria, you can let that right knee drop all the way wide to the side. The knee that's bent, yeah, drop it all the way up. Yep, all the way up, all the way up. Yep, there you go. Good. And then walk yourself back up, please. Nice. Take that right knee up to face the ceiling. Step it over your left thigh. And again, you can keep the second leg straight or bend the knee, crossing the heel towards your sit bone. Good. But you should be able to feel both sit bones. And then again, you're either wrapping the left arm around the outside of the knee, using the inner elbow to pull the knee in towards your chest, or you're hooking the left elbow on the outside of the knee, almost like a prayer twist, and right hand comes behind you. So your choice, how you come into that twist. Good. If you are in the sort of prayer twist position, just watch that you're not flexing your wrist back, right? Keep your wrist in line. Yeah, if you want things to go back further, it means you got to move from your shoulder. You've got to move from your chest. Good. So Laura, just watch that you're not tilting your wrist back. Yeah, straight up. There you go. Yeah. Jazz hands if you want. Nice, Mark. Good, Lauren. Good. Energy of play. You can be as ridiculous as you want. One more breath, curl into your belly, into yourself, and then release. Come on out. Nice. Unwind the legs, please. Good. Take them out. Stretch them out. Give them a shake. Good. Nice, nice, nice. You're getting sillier by the second. I love it. Slide yourself forward, please. Come onto your backs. Good. And then bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let your knees drop wide. Baddha Konasana. Good. Take the arms overhead maybe to hold opposite elbows or wrists. If there's another arm position that feels better to you, you can certainly do that. Maybe it feels more comforting to have the hands resting on the belly. Breathe yourself wide open. And breathe into yourself a knowledge that if you let go of all of the desire to achieve, all of the desire to progress, all of the desire to somehow be other than what you are, that there's still something that you're going to fall into if all of that disappears. And the name that the lineages or that the tradition gives us for that state that you fall into is bliss. Nothing is missing, and there's nowhere to escape to, nothing to escape from. But it's the inner resource that is the ability for us to be resilient. When we know it, when we feel it, and the parameters of your experience, the parameters of your life become infinitely more expanded. The potential is infinitely more. When you have exhausted the ability of the mind to create peace, to create happiness, as the practice says, that you'll stop trying and you'll just let yourself fall into bliss. Stay here if you'd like. If you would like a final spinal twist, bring your knees back towards each other. Good. Spinal twist of your choice. You can keep one leg extended and draw the other knee in. You can bring both knees in. You can wrap the legs like you would for eagle. And let the hips drop to one side, knees drop to one side. Good. Make sure you go the other way. So come back to center, go the other way in your twist. And don't feel pressured. If you're like, I don't feel like doing a spinal twist, don't do it. Perfectly fine. Do spinal twist before Shavasana just to allow the spine to be in as free a place as it can be. Come back to center again, please. And again, if you'd like, dropping the feet to the floor, take one bridge pose before you settle. So planting the feet, planting the arms, rising up. Good. Without a sense of achievement, just a sense of I want to feel the fullness of the front of my body and the back of my body. And then slowly release the hips back down to the floor. Good. Take one more pull of the knees in towards your chest. Squeeze forehead up to meet your knees. And then release, stretching the legs out, stretching the arms out. Fall into a puddle. And then start to bring the awareness back towards your breath and maybe back to what's behind your breath. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath, letting the body begin to stretch and move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. It's said in the understanding of the energetic form of our body, the energetics of the yoga tradition, how it said the energy bodies are put together, is that your first blueprint is bliss. It's your biggest aura is your bliss body. And that from that, everything else extends. So when we're in that state of trying to recreate what peace is, trying to recreate what bliss is, what happiness is we're always going to fall short because the mind can't imagine the bigness of what's already there. It can't recreate something that is already more complete than its own ideas. So the only way to get there is to fall back into it. The only way to get there is to realize that that's what's the inner source of your resilience to begin with. Your whole desire for life comes from that. Your whole willingness to live comes from that. And when we're small, we know that innately because the mind doesn't know anything else. So we're in a time, I think, in this world where what we're being asked to do more than anything else is to come back to that inner state of bliss, back to that resilience, where the world is still going to happen, but we have the ability to move through it in a way that isn't just about succeeding, but that is about play. That's about maintaining that feeling of wholeness and completeness. But if we keep looking for it outside, we're going to miss it. We might be able to find pieces of it, but never the whole thing. So can you practice falling? Can you practice every part of your life with the same willingness? No ideas that you want to avoid. And if you fall out of that desire to achieve, you will fall into something else. And if you keep falling out of whatever pulls you from bliss, what you will fall deeper into is bliss. So practice, not just your asana, practice that. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend until I see you again. I'm going to unmute you. And then just a heads up, do keep an eye open on, all social media pages and emails. There's always going to be fun things coming up. So there's little kirtan opportunities coming up this week if you are missing the chanting